Bible says, as it was in the days of Noah. It implies almost a dead sense of conscience for people that live in that particular period. Is that the people of that day and age will be almost dead, you could almost say, uh, being conscious, particularly spiritually or however you may call it. Now, there is a particular verse that I want to read before I play you this video. It's from Matthew chapter number 24, verse number 12 up until 14. And it puts this idea like this, right? It says, because iniquity shall abound. Now, this implies that it's not just, oh yeah, people were doing wrong. Of course, people have been doing wrong for things. It's that iniquity becomes state of life. People are known for wickedness, you know. And in this day and age, I mean, like, there are people we know this one's a criminal. And, so, and even charlatans nowadays, we know these ones are charlatans. They don't seek to change, they don't seek to uphold any upright theological position. No, no, no. They continue in that path. As a matter of fact, they try to convince everyone that they are in the right. So, because iniquity shall abound, it abounds based on what? Because on those standards. The love of many shall wax cold. And so you'll see nowadays, there's a lot of people that are not even willing to interact with church because they've seen one particular act that drove them away, and then they determine that defines church as a whole, which is foul, actually. It says the love of many shall grow cold. And so you should be very careful when you start to grow cold-hearted towards church because of other people's acts. Okay? In the last days. Because of wicked, notice, because the iniquity shall abound, when the love of many shall wax cold. People are done wrong within church, they start to distance themselves because of certain acts that they saw or whatever. But he that shall endure to the end, now that kind of puts context around the endurance there, them shall be saved. Now, this is a verse that is, its context is around the end time, mainly speaking to the audience that is there in the period of the tribulation and so forth. And then it says, and this gospel of the kingdom, it's a particular type of gospel, shall be preached unto the world, and for a witness, the gospel will be a witness unto the nations, and then shall the end come. So then he speaks about the second coming. So when he says the end there, he's not talking about rapture, he's talking about the second coming. It's a very particular end. Now, the end of the age we know ends by the church being taken, right? So the end of the world there, it's the second coming. So it's a very particular phrasing of things. So this particular thing I wanted to quote before you see this video of this prophet called Major V from Swaziland. It's very popular there. I think he's even advisor to the king or something like that, which is very weird, having a person like this thing. Now here he's going to say something. It's going to shock many people, but brace yourself.
Lesonto leli ngaligada mina. Ngiligade 2021 June nakufa JR Joshua. Ngaligada ngathi leli ngiyaligada. Nangabuka sihambe njani naye. Udabuta ongitshela ngethwala ngaye futhi ngoba ngabona usitangibulala. Nani ke qhubekani ngale ndlela lenenda ngayo.
The video, Major V, for those that didn't understand, said waligada isonto. He gada the sonto there. He gada the sonto. Meaning he created a covenant for the church's rebuilding, because Major V had lost his church. So he created a covenant to strengthen the church so that it will not lose this church. And then he then goes to say that he initiated using him. Now the person is talking about passed away. Okay, so he's not hiding that. No, this is him. This is not him say. No. This is what he said himself. He said that he used this person's death or blood to initiate himself. and to build his church. He's not talking about, okay, he spoke about him and he's passing and that's how he built his church. He's talking particularly within a ritual perspective. That's a person who calls himself a prophet. That's a person who calls himself a man of God. Now he goes to this church, I think they're called Amajerico or something like that. They are kind of like some traditional church or something like that, along those lines. Now, remember what the verse I said. There are certain acts that people will see that will drive them away. Now, even the Bible does warn about acts that actually cause others, that will put the faith in disrepute, meaning it shames, it puts a bad look on the gospel. It's people like this. Say they're openly saying, "No, you know what? I use this man for ritual." No, it's not what I say. It's what he said. I'm even making it sound better. I know you can't make ritual things sound better. I am making it sound better. He says it in thing. If a person from Swaziland is there in the comment section, maybe they further explain what he said there so that you will understand how very himself out of his own mouth. And after he did this act, this ritual act that he did here, he was appointed towards being one of the advisors for the king. That puts questions there. But it's our tradition. Blah, blah, blah. It's your tradition, maybe, not mine. It's not mine. Now, remember what the verse says. Because iniquity abounds, meaning it becomes normal. Doing, somebody was telling me about a situation where a lady who had gone to her wedding and she had dressed modestly in her wedding gown. And so they were shaming her. They were making a joke and a mockery of her. You see, the wrong thing becomes normal. You who does the normal, you become abnormal. So because iniquity abounds, the love of many shall wax cold. It becomes difficult. It weighs you down, showing love, the love of God, to a world that sees itself in that way. And says to him that endures. Because why does he say to him that endures? Because it becomes easier doing the other one. It becomes easier doing the wicked one. Because everybody does that. We don't subscribe to how the world moves in how it sees its service to the world, to others. So, because the world has a very tainted view. Remember, when I went to Chris Network, I mentioned this thing is that the world has a very tainted view of love. Their version of love is not the love that we see biblically spoken about. When you now see people open, sitting there, straight, looking at the camera, say, I used the ritual, and he is a prophet. The same prophet who used to go on the pulpit carrying a gun. Not carrying a gun like safety. No, he used to carry it around like in the hand with his Bible. It was very weird stuff. I once spoke about that video. There was a whole marriage thing. Like there's a lot of stories that I avoid that he does and stuff like that. It's like he runs a lot of stunts and stuff like that. But you can see now how the faith is evil spoken of, as the Bible puts it, because of these individuals' acts. But should this now drive a person away from faith? Probably you never believed. Personally, if I look at it, I wouldn't let a fake deter me from the real thing. A fake is a fake. It was never intending to face itself as the real thing. It's a fake. It's meant to imitate the real thing. But you'll have people hear things like this, and these things become the reason why they turn away from faith. You were never believing. You never believed. So you've seen those type of questions, but Ricky, what about a person like this who openly, yes, they never believed. Because otherwise, how do you come to such a position where you are deterred because of fake? Let's be very clear in this day and age. We need that because a lot of these things that you see out there are all pretending to be the real thing, and they are not. Realize the day you are living in, and I'll see you on a later on episode. I thought this was quite an interesting one. I've had it in the library for a while. Today I wanted to share it. Y'all tell me your thoughts down in the comment section. It's Ricky. Other episodes down today down in the pin comments, y'all.